All right, and welcome back, Rye. It's been a while. Tonight actually is March Madness kicking off. What is it? The first four they call it.
Yeah, the first four games. The first one actually starts here in a couple hours at 5:15 Mount St. Mary's. So
Right in our backyard, huh?
yeah, not too far away.
Not. I think the last time they made the tournament I saw was 2017. So it's been a while.
Yeah,
Uh, hey, look, again, we're back presented by Dempsey's Grill, Sports Lane, Middletown, Maryland. Look, uh, I wanted to make this quick announcement, Ryan, while we're on. Uh, I'm sure you're aware we have a special giveaway coming up. So it's going to be a $50 gift card, Dick's Sporting Goods. How it's going to work for y'all that watch this podcast, basically, we're going to wait until what, Ryan, the Final Four?
yeah, the Final Four.
We're going to wait till the Final Four kicks off. Whoever gets that picks the winner of each Final Four game and then the national championship will win the $50 gift card. Again, that's presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And yeah, so all you have to do is hit our email up. What is it, Ryan? Listen up, Maryland@gmail.com.
That's right. Listen up, Maryland@gmail.com. Email us there, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited
to see who gets it right, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna.
Well, let's go and tell everybody now. So if we have multiple people that get the teams right, what we're going to have to do is we're going to also, you all send us the scores. Send us the scores and your prediction of the national championship game. I believe that's Monday, April the 5th.
Yeah, score for just the championship game. And so if we have any ties, that'll be the tiebreaker then.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at the calendar now. So it's Monday, April the 5th is the national championship. All right, so Ryan, let's go and get into it. What are your thoughts, man? Because the bracket came out last week. I know we always talk about the number one seeds, actually for men's and women's. There's so much to go over in so little amount of time. I want to congratulate Poffenbarger and Paige Beckers, the UConn Huskies, for going in as a top seed this year. I want to congratulate Michaela Daniels and Arkansas Razorbacks as they made the tournament. I shouted out to her and wished her all the luck, and I told her that you'll be rooting for Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right. Florida didn't make it, so I guess I'll have to root for Arkansas and UConn and Maryland.
The Gators women didn't make it.
Yeah, that's right. Women didn't make it.
Look, I know we always talk about March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness. So many teams being upset in the tournament. But Ryan, I didn't get your thoughts on a couple things here today. What do you think, man? Because, when you factor in the COVID virus, some games that were canceled, some coaches that may be out along the way, some players that might test positive along the way, you have to believe the tournament's still going to go on. But now, how will this affect, will we see even more upsets? Because I'll be honest with you now, on my bracket, I went with pretty much all number one and number two teams going into the Elite Eight, Final Four, and the championship. But I'm like, okay, are we going to see some 10 seed teams in the Elite Eight or Final Four? Do you think it's going to get real messy?
Oh yeah, every year there's always one or two teams that spoil or bust everybody's brackets. So it's hard to pick that one team and try to decide which team is gonna carry a lot of momentum and carry the win from a first round. And it's just hard to tell which team can make a deep run. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting because the tournament last year, of course, got canceled because of COVID. So I'm very excited. It's been I know a lot of people look forward to this March Madness tournament. It only happens once a year, so really excited for it to get kicked off tonight.
Yeah. Well, I talked to you about Gonzaga going in as the number one team. What's your thoughts on their roster, and just the fact that I actually had them winning the tournament? You don't.
No,
But tell me why you think, because remember the other day I was with you at your house, and I said, Ryan, I said, man, Gonzaga, they're going in as undefeated. I said, a lot of people are telling me they don't like to ever go with the number one team in March Madness. But uh, now all of a sudden it seems like a lot of people want to go with Gonzaga, but not Ryan Renner.
no. Yeah, it's really hard to go against an undefeated team, but I just think it's always the same storyline for Gonzaga. Of course, they don't go undefeated every season, but they're not in the strongest conference. They don't really play. They did have some quality wins at the beginning of the season. I did believe they beat Kansas and a couple other strong teams, but it's just in the conference that they play in. It's not that strong. Of course, BYU is probably the strongest team in their conference. They entered the tournament as a 6 seed, but yeah, I just think Gonzaga is going to get upset. And I actually have Iowa beating Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. So I actually don't even have Gonzaga making the Final Four. So yeah, I just think I don't quite think Gonzaga can handle the top tier teams. The teams from like the Big Ten and those caliber teams that are really good. So
Yeah. How about I want to shift my focus, Ryan, to Ohio State and what they did, because actually what they did in the Big Ten, was that Big Ten tournament?
yeah, Big Ten.
I want to put our focus on Ohio State for a second. I tell you, what a roster this team has. They go in as what, a number 2 seed?
That's right, number 2.
Number 2 seed. Shout out to Dwayne Washington Jr., C.J. Walker. I did tell you, man. You look at this roster, man. They're loaded. I mean, just up and down, they're loaded with talent. But talk about, because you had them losing against Michigan, but then they beat them. Was it in overtime?
Yeah, they did beat them in overtime. Yeah,
In the Big Ten tournament, and then they lost in the final to who did they lose to in the final?
they lost to Illinois.
Oh, okay, all right. So Illinois, a chance maybe Ohio State makes it further than Illinois, because Ohio State made a lot of noise in that tournament. I know they're not only going to be facing Big Ten teams, but Ohio State made quite some noise, Ryan, in the Big Ten tournament. So, and I believe you had them going. What? Tell us, in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I actually have them making the Final Four. I have them beating Baylor in the Elite Eight. So Ohio State, I think, is carrying a lot of momentum. Even though they did lose a championship game to Illinois, they gave Illinois a really good battle, a really good fight. So
Yeah.
I think Ohio State and Illinois are going to meet again in the Final Four. If they do make it that far, that's going to be the matchup in the Final Four. So, Ohio State, really good team, really good free throw shooting team, just all around good on both sides of the ball. So, free throw shooting really comes in big, especially in tournament play, because if it's a close game down the stretch, you start getting fouled a lot. Clutch free throw shots really big in basketball.
Yes, again, you say Ohio State. I think it'll come down to Ohio State, Illinois, Gonzaga, and my Final Four, Ryan, might be a surprise to you. I'm going to say your friends down south, that's right next door, Florida State. You take a look at that roster, man. And I tell you, a lot of I listen to some guys down south that run their own show. Sometimes here and there, and they talk about Florida State, and a shout out to them. And they were on the pod the other day talking about Florida State basketball, and that was actually a wake up call for me, because I pulled up some of their stats, and man, they have some deep talent too on that Florida State roster.
Yeah, they do. They're a really deep team. a little inconsistent, I think, in my opinion, through the season. Of course, they do play in the ACC, and they got beat by Georgia Tech, I believe it was, in the ACC tournament. So Florida State is one of those teams I think that can make a big run. But I actually have, probably the biggest upset I have in my bracket is I actually have LSU defeating Michigan in the second round.
Wow.
And, after that, I have LSU beating Florida State. So I think LSU is going to make a deep run in the tournament, in my opinion. LSU doesn't really play that good of a defense, but they have three guards on their team that can all be first-round draft picks in the NBA. So I think if LSU just plays decent defense in the tournament, they can make a big run. But Florida State's another team that definitely can make a run also.
Yeah, Florida State. And then, hey, is there any chance, I wanted to ask you, do you think there's any chance Loyola, how about Loyola Chicago's Cinderella story in 2018?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the turn of events and the dramatic upsets in that year. I'm sure you remember that. That wasn't too long ago. And I mean, they had the sister, I guess you call her the sister.
Sister Jean, yeah.
Yeah, I think since then she passed, but she was their biggest fan, and I think it's a Catholic university, Loyola.
Yeah, I think I actually saw the other day. I don't think she passed away. I think I saw on ESPN, I believe it was, that she'll be making the trip down to watch the game, I believe. So.
Okay. I'm sorry then. So she's actually going then. She's still kicking, huh?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I apologize, man. That was someone else then I was thinking of. So, well, they still have their number one fan. So, hey, put the focus on Sister and Loyola Chicago for a second. Any chance? Do you have them maybe making a deep run?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to get past, of course, Georgia Tech. They play them in the first round, and then if they beat them and Illinois wins their game, Loyola will have to play Illinois. So that'll be a tough matchup. Illinois playing Loyola. It might be a pretty good game. If Loyola can go on that Cinderella story again, I know that was something to watch. They made the Final Four that year. And I think this present team now, actually has a little bit better stats than the team did and that made it a couple years ago. So I think they definitely have a chance. But I have Illinois winning the whole thing. So I think Illinois is going to take them down. But if they
well,
do,
you have so Porter Moser, head coach there at Loyola. Of course, you got let's see, you have I'm looking now at the roster on up and down. I mean, they have a lot of seniors. I mean, here's a red shirt senior, Jake Ballman. He stands at 6'3". So it looks like it's some sophomores, freshmen. So they have a little bit of everything, Loyola, but a lot. It looks like some experience on the roster, Ryan. So I don't think that would be an issue.
Yeah, it's the experience on this roster definitely isn't a problem. Cameron Krutwig, the senior center, was on that team that made a big run. I believe he was actually a freshman on that team. So that'd be pretty special if he's able to lead the team to another big run as a senior.
Well, the reason why I laughed is you tell Paige Beckers about experience. She doesn't want to hear any of that.
No.
I mean, we're talking. It's amazing, man. I the other night actually, and I pulled up on my phone and was reading about a nice article from Michelle Vocal on ESPN, staff writer for women's basketball. And I tell you, Michelle Vocal could not have done it any better or said it any better. She wrote a great article about Paige Beckers and how she is really, Ryan, she's I don't say changing the game of basketball, but man, I mean, she has basketball legends, you know, just praising her. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable. I don't know what else to say, really.
Yeah, it really does leave you speechless when you just think about her only being a freshman, and with her putting up the numbers that she's putting up playing for UConn with all of her other, great teammates that she's playing with. They got recruited with her and are on the team now. They definitely, the UConn team as a whole, despite having their coach out for the first two games of the tournament, I believe. I think UConn's definitely a team that can make a huge run in the tournament, and I actually have them winning the whole thing. So it should be really fun to watch UConn play in the tournament.
Well, you know how you're judged by championships. That's what, and Michelle made a great point, though. Years ago, when Sue Bird was there at UConn, who are the other legends? Brianna Stewart. They weren't, Michelle made a great point in her article this past week. She mentioned that Paige Beckers is dealing with, people saying that, oh, Beckers can't do it. She's a freshman. It just is not enough experience, not enough this and that. Look, uh, I'm sitting here now, and I'm definitely, it almost feels like a Tom Brady situation, where if you bet against him, you're going to be wrong. And we experienced that back in the Super Bowl, in our Super Bowl preview back in January. So, Ryan, I tell you now, I have not filled out a bracket yet for women's basketball, but at this point in time, I'll let you talk, but at this point in time, I would not be afraid to bet whether Gino Auriemma, head coach, even if he's gone for the first two rounds, I would not be afraid to mark up the UConn women's team as national champions.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid pick. I think, with talking about Paige, I think she definitely benefits from all their teammates around her and just how much they're able to help each other on the basketball court. And Coach Gino, we talked about him before, being one of the best head coaches ever in men and women's basketball combined. So I just think they're another great team. UConn seems like they always have a really good team, thanks to Gino and all their scouts and, able to get those players out of high school. So it's going to be really fun to watch them in the tournament.
Yeah, it is, man. So Maryland, before we leave off on a high note, and I'll let you go, so you can get your dinner going, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Talk about Maryland, back here in our hometown. We'll save the quote unquote best for last, huh? Let's save it for the best for last, and that's our hometown teams. Listen up, Maryland. Um, look, head coaches for Maryland men's and women's have been there a long time. Mark Turgeon, and head coach for Maryland, Brenda Frese. Um, Look, I mean, I have the Maryland men's basketball team getting bounced out of the tournament. I believe in the second round, Ryan. I definitely think that the women's will make a further run at it. But again, just talk a little bit about how it speaks volumes to as many times as we see the Maryland men's and women's basketball teams keep making the tournament year after year after year. I mean, the East Coast for basketball wise, it's stacked. It is stacked. And again, I'm not saying that these teams have no chance at going all the way. But you don't see my point is, Ryan, say Maryland men and women's lose in the first round, they're still making the tournament year after year after year. I mean, tell about how much that speaks volumes, man, about that talent day in and day out, no matter how far they make it.
Yeah, and with them both playing in the Big Ten, of course, on the men's side, the Big Ten this year had 9 of 14 teams making the tournament. which was the most of any conference. So it definitely speaks volume when a team like Maryland is able to compete with teams like Iowa, who's a 2 seed. Of course, Illinois got a 1 seed, and Michigan got a 1 seed as well, and Ohio State. So a lot of talent on the men's side for basketball. Of course, Mark Turgeon in his 10th season, still leading the Maryland men to the tournament. And for the Maryland women, of course, they entered the tournament as a 2 seed, 24-2 on the season. And, coming off a Big Ten championship, their 5th title in the last 7 years, incredible what Brenda Frese has done for the Maryland women program. And Maryland's offense scores 91 points per game, which leads the nation. Lethal 3-point shooting team, good at the foul line. So I think for the Maryland women, I think I have them playing UConn in my bracket. I think I have them playing UConn for the championship. So if that happens, that'll be very exciting. But I do think the Maryland women can make a deep run. And, of course, the Maryland men, they play UConn their first game on the men's side. And I do, unfortunately, have the Maryland men bouncing out of the tournament in the first round. But it'll definitely be fun to watch both teams.
Yeah, I think the keys as far as the Maryland men go is Aaron Wiggins and Eric Ayala. Ayala, I mean, you commented on him. He's out of Delaware. You pointed him out a couple of days ago to me. Ayala is a guard. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. I think if he can get off of the arc and drive the ball in these games. Also, Maryland is really good at shooting from outside, from 3-point range, from downtown, as they like to call it. But yeah, I think if you get the ball in Eric Ayala's hands for these in this tournament, man, and he's able to drive the ball down in the paint, I think that's going to be trouble. That's going to be trouble. So watch out for Eric Ayala. I think a lot of teams are going to be double teaming him because what he's done so far this year, what he's averaging. I don't know. Did you tell me he's averaging like how many points a game?
Yeah, Aaron Wiggins and Eric Ayala both averaging 14 points on the season. So they're going to rely on those two guys probably in this tournament.
Yep. All right, Ryan, we'll leave it at that. Again, March Madness tonight, first 4. Ryan, good luck to your Florida Gators, but still cheer for the Maryland teams, even if they're not playing, the Florida Gators.
That's right.
Or if they are playing the Florida Gators, I know you're not going to root for the Maryland Terps, but let's put an end to it. And I can't wait, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm just glad that we're not fast forward a year, and it seems like that the time flew by, man. I mean, it really did, because I'm just thankful and grateful that we aren't sitting here this time last year when it was a nightmare. I mean, we almost made it into the March Madness tournament, and then all of a sudden that's when COVID shut everything down.
Yeah, it got canceled, I believe, right as the conference tournaments were being played. So that was a really disappointing time. But like you said, fast forward a year already, and the NCAA was able to play their whole season, both for the men and women. So a really good job on their part, and able to do both tournaments. So really excited to see how both tournaments play out. And I can't wait.
Catch it on, I guess it'll be on CBS, TNT, True TV. Ryan, March Madness. It's coming, bud. All right, man. Listen up. Presented by Dempsey's Growing Sportsland. Guys, listen up. We'll have more information coming about that Dick's Sporting Goods gift card. And when the time comes, you can start sending us your picks when the Final Four rolls through. I believe it's the women's is held in San Antonio, Texas, I believe, and then the men's is what, Indianapolis?
Yeah, Indianapolis, yeah.
Indianapolis this year. All right, Ryan, it's been a pleasure. Guys, stay tuned. We will probably be having another episode here pretty soon. NFL free agency, Ryan, on the rise. And then Saturday is our Orioles preview. And we're thankful to break the news that Austin will be back with us.
Yeah, very excited. Very excited to finally get back in the studio. So I can't wait for Saturday.
All right, we'll see you later, bud.
All right, see ya.